to former legislative director to John McCain, John Raidt. John, very good to have you. You know, you always hear these kind of wonderful comments about a wonderful guy who reached across the aisle, and I was thinking, would it inspire people to reach across the aisle? Because in doing so, you risk, as the senator did, getting the wrath of many on your team and getting distrustful glances from the other team. So what's happened over the last few decades is the teams stop talking to one another. So what happens now?
Well, Neil, that's the hope. I think that's what he'd like his legacy to be. We, as a democracy, should have sharp differences, but the forefathers put together a process for reconciling them, and that process is broken. I think when you have continuous campaign mode and, you know, House members spending 40% of their time having to raise money, and, you know, that need really gets into sharp rhetoric in order to part people with their dollars. I think the process has really taken a hit. And when John McCain first came to Congress, Mo Udall, who probably younger people have never heard of, was a liberal icon and was chairman of the Interior Committee.
Ran for president.
Comes John.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And John McCain was a member of the opposite party, freshman. No reason for Mo Udall to reach out and bring him into the fold, but he did. And John McCain never forgot that. And it's really how it's supposed to work. And he tried to pay that forward, working with others like Paul Wellstone and Russ Feingold and others. And really, it's the only way we're going to be able to restore the legislative process to address the many issues and problems we have.
But, you know, that means getting beyond pettiness, and not, who am I to speak ill of John McCain or ill of the dead, period. But many have been shocked that Sarah Palin, for example, wasn't invited to this funeral. A number of former close operatives of his, Nicole Wallace, who's now an anchor at MSNBC. Do you think that showed a side of him that's still very much a problem in Washington, that people can be petty, that they can hold grudges?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, Neil. I'm really not sure about that. Our focus right now is saying goodbye to someone who has meant a lot to this country. I don't know what to make of who was and wasn't there, but I think people have come together across the country to celebrate a life worth celebrating.
So when we do celebrate a life, does it bother you that then a side focus gets to be, why would Senator McCain or those around him go to such trouble leaving out certain people at a funeral that celebrates his bipartisan life and his outreach to everyone?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know who was and how they were, but really the focus is on just saying thanks and hopefully building the legacy that we just discussed.
Fair enough. It is what it is. John, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.